Deontay. Deontay. Listen, nigga. I'm gonna need you to beat this man. This man standing to your right. I'm gonna need you to beat Tyson Fury. Because we need you. In reality, boxing needs you to beat Tyson Fury, because we need to keep this Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder fight alive. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if you fucking win against Tyson Fury. That's the only way. You see what I'm saying? Because if you, by some unfortunate event, lose to Tyson Fury, well, you just ruined a big fight for boxing, right? Because despite what anyone thinks, people consider Deontay Wilder overrated. People consider Deontay Wilder, a fake champion. People say a lot of things about Deontay Wilder, but they still want to see him face off against Anthony Joshua. This is a big deal, especially in the heavyweight division. It's a big deal for boxing fans to see a bout between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They want to see who is in fact the best heavyweight. And because Deontay Wilder is a champion, and because Anthony Joshua is a champion, they want to see both of these men face off. Right? They want to see both of these men face off, so then the winner of that fight, they could say once and for all, this guy is the number one heavyweight. Because when there's two champions in a division, you can't say for sure that this guy is the best, the number one heavyweight. You might think to yourself, he has the skill set, he's a better technically, but you can't 100% certain say he is the number one heavyweight, because he didn't fight the other guy, and that other guy is Deontay Wilder. That's why people want to see this fight happen, so it gets rid of that doubt of people saying that Anthony Joshua is not the number one champion, and also of Deontay Wilder, of people saying that Deontay Wilder is a hype job, because if he were to beat Anthony Joshua, he would basically become the number one heavyweight at that point. So that would erase a lot of doubt. No one could question it anymore that Deontay Wilder is the number one guy, or Anthony Joshua is the number one guy. So this is a big fucking deal fight. If this man loses to Tyson Fury, this fight's not going to happen. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder fight would be absolutely dead, because Eddie Hearn said himself, I'm not talking about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has said that he would fight Deontay Wilder even if he lost. Even if Wilder lost. But Eddie Hearn said in the past that if Deontay Wilder lost to Anthony Joshua, he's not going to make the fight happen. Right? And it would be even harder for Deontay Wilder to accept a fight deal with Anthony Joshua if he were to lose. Because right now, when he's the WBC champion, while he's undefeated, he's making it difficult because he's demanding a certain amount of money, right? And he's undefeated and he's a champion. So imagine if he were to lose and he's no longer undefeated and he's no longer the champion. And imagine he goes to Eddie Hearn and he tries to make a fight. Now, Eddie Hearn is going to offer him even less than what he originally offered him, because now he's no longer a champion, right? Because he's a champion, that is basically one of the reasons why Eddie Hearn is offering him a certain amount of money, right? Because he's a champion, because he happens to be a champion. But imagine if he were to lose. Now, Eddie Hearn is not going to be offering him that same amount of money, and that's going to turn off Wilder, because Wilder might be going back to that. If he were to lose, Wilder might go to that negotiation table and try to act like he still wants a certain amount of money to face Anthony Joshua, and Eddie Hearn would just say, I'm not going to give you that because you're not a champion anymore. And then Wilder's just going to say, you know what, then I'm not going to face Anthony Joshua. And once again, he's not going to want to fight Anthony Joshua. So it would be even worse for Deontay Wilder, or for us boxing fans, to have any hope of seeing Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua if Deontay Wilder were to lose. Because like I said, if he were to lose, Eddie Hearn wouldn't offer him nowhere near as much as what he's currently offering him. because he's a champion, right? He won't be offering him that amount if he loses. And Wilder won't accept it because Wilder just wants to make as much money as he possibly can to face Anthony Joshua, right? Another thing is, honestly, I'm being real with you. I rather would see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder than Tyson Fury. Just because of the danger factor. Like, that's what intrigues me of that fight. The danger factor. When it comes to Tyson Fury is not a big puncher. Tyson Fury is a boxer. That's what he is. He's a boxer. So if Tyson Fury faces Anthony Joshua, if that fight's set to happen, going into that fight, I'm not going to be thinking to myself, Anthony Joshua is going to get knocked out. Anthony Joshua is in danger of getting knocked out. Anthony Joshua needs to worry about Tyson Fury's punching power. I'm not going to be thinking that. All I'm going to be thinking to myself is, Tyson Fury is going to attempt to outbox Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury is going to be attempting to outbox Anthony Joshua. He's going to try to play it savvy. He's going to be tricky. He's going to try and counterpunch Anthony Joshua all night. The only one who has danger of getting knocked out in this fight would be Tyson Fury himself. So going into that fight, I know what Tyson Fury is going to be planning on doing against Anthony Joshua. He's going to be planning on staying on the outside, playing the counterpuncher, trying to go the distance. So I know it's not gonna, it's just not gonna be as the same. It's gonna be like, okay, he's gonna be doing that lame, go the distance type of style, the same type of style he fought against Vladimir Klitschko. That was a very dull fight because of Tyson Fury and because Vladimir Klitschko didn't let his hands go, right? So this is what he's gonna attempt to do against Anthony Joshua. But if Anthony Joshua is set to face Deontay Wilder, it's different. Deontay Wilder doesn't have the skill set of Mr. Tyson Fury, but Deontay Wilder has a punch, right? He's a puncher. And going into that fight, the whole time I will be thinking, what happens if Deontay Wilder lands his right hand on Anthony Joshua? Is Anthony Joshua able to take his right hand? What happens if he manages to land on Anthony Joshua? Does Deontay Wilder have the ability to land his right hand on Anthony Joshua? And if he does, what happens to how does Anthony Joshua react? Does he get hurt? Does he get on Queer Street? Does he get dropped? That's the danger factor in that fight. That is what would have me, biting my nails and basically pacing back and forth and just nervous during that fight. Is because even though I think Joshua is a better talent than Wilder could change a fight any minute. So during that whole fight, every time Wilder throws his right hand, it's going to be a thing where I'm going to be like, oh shit, he just missed Anthony Joshua. I'm going to be thinking, what's going to happen when he finally lands his right hand? That's going to be the excitement factor right there. Because Wilder could be losing every single round in the fight, but if he lands his right hand, it's over. I mean, when he was fighting Ortiz, he was losing against Ortiz. I thought Luis Ortiz was clearly winning in terms of scoring the round, scoring the points, right? He was scoring the points. He was winning. And out of nowhere, Deontay Wilder lands his right hand. And in the first knockdown, he drops Luis Ortiz, right? And that punch came out of nowhere. That's why that fight was so exciting. Because, I thought Luis Ortiz was winning. And out of nowhere, Wilder just throws his crazy, lightning fast right hand. And it lands on Luis Ortiz and it hurts him. And then he drops Luis Ortiz, right? And that's the excitement part of Deontay Wilder as a fighter is he's very fast and he has this one punch game changer that literally changes a fight just like that. Like I said, the Luis Ortiz fight was a perfect example. He just caught him out of nowhere. So that's why I would be that would be the excitement factor. Like I said, when he's in there against Anthony Joshua, because it could be round 5. AJ could be up in the scorecards and scoring the points. And then, bam, Wilder throws that right hand. He lands it. And all of a sudden, AJ is on his backside. And we're like, oh, shit. And all of a sudden, the fight does a 180. And, the momentum is on Deontay Wilder's side. And all of a sudden, AJ is backpedaling. He's hurt. He's covering up. And, that's why I like this fight between Wilder versus AJ. Because of the fact that one punch KO excitement factor. You see, I won't have that if Tyson Fury faces Deontay Wilder. I mean, if Tyson Fury faces Anthony Joshua, because Tyson Fury does not have that one punch knockout power. He just doesn't. Right? He's not a guy that takes risks like that. He's more of a guy that he prefers going the distance. He prefers taking his opponent the distance. And again, that to me, I've always been a guy who is more of a. I'm into fighters who go for the knockout. Basically, I like watching fighters. I like watching knockouts. So that's why I like watching Deontay Wilder, because he knocks people the fuck out. He knocks them out. He puts them to sleep. So for the sake of this big fight and for that excitement that we all want to see, Wilder, don't lose to Tyson Fury, man. Catch him with that right hand. I know if Wilder lands his right hand on Tyson Fury, he could knock him out. Because I've seen Tyson Fury get dropped by lesser punchers than Deontay Wilder. So Wilder can definitely knock out Tyson Fury. And especially this version of Tyson Fury who was on a massive layoff. So I really hope he doesn't get outboxed against Tyson Fury. Because like I said, that will ruin the fight between Deontay Wilder versus Wilder versus AJ. That will ruin that fight 100%. I'm telling you, man, it will ruin it. So please knock this guy out, man.